Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark on the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1937 crime drama Young and Innocent.
You're a liar, and a cheat.
Well, that's not true. That's not true at all. All of my opinions are my truthful and honest opinions. Young and Innocent has a 100% fresh rating from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and a 62% fresh rating from the audience, which is absolutely terrible. I am currently reviewing every movie that has a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie revolves around the characters Norma Pilbeam, who plays Erica, and Derrick D. Marney, who plays Robert Tisdale. The movie opens up with a couple who are arguing with each other. It would appear that the female of this couple, her name is Christine, had decided to serve her husband with divorce papers. He doesn't understand and he doesn't believe that they are divorced. He wants them to still be married and go about their married happy lives, but she makes it very obvious to him that she does not want to stay in this marriage. The next day, while Robert Tisdale is walking along the beach, he notices there is a female body there. This is the body of Christine, whom he knew somewhat. He knew a little bit, kind of like an acquaintance type situation, but not really good friends with. So he decides he's going to try to leave the scene and go get some help. Now, the next scene we see, actually there's two girls who are walking along the beach as well. They see Christine and then they see Robert Tisdale running away. So the next scene in the movie, the cops are interviewing everyone in a circle at the same time. And as they're doing this, they ask who was the first person to see Christine deceased. Now Robert says it was him and the girls say it was them. The girls argue that Robert is the killer because he was fleeing the scene of the crime. Robert's argument is that he found Christine and didn't know what to do, so he ran to try to get assistance so he could come back and start doing mouth-to-mouth treatments. No one was buying this, though. They all just automatically assume that it was Robert, and one of the main reasons why they think this is that the coroner, maybe not a coroner, the person they have in charge of this case for the deceased body, he basically says that this woman was not killed through a drowning, even though she was left on the beach. She was killed with a rope, because there was a piece of rope left next to her.
Is she drowned? No, it's a mermaid.
Keep quiet.
This woman was never drowned. She was strangled with this belt.
Oh,
Keep back there, everybody, please. Now then, which of you found the body first?
I did.
no, he didn't. We did.
Now, I don't know what kind of forensics they had in 1937, but my assumption would be is that you would want to do some kind of toxicology test, some type of test to ensure that this woman did not drown. You can look for water in her lungs, but no, instead of doing that, they just exclaimed that she was killed by the rope on the ground next to her. So apparently if the criminal thought of everything, he didn't think about taking the rope back with him. Now, it just so happens that Robert Tisdale owns a raincoat with a belt. So he is automatically the biggest person of interest because he has a raincoat with a belt. Now, as he's going to be booked into the system and do his first court hearing, he escapes and he eventually runs into the daughter of the constable, and he takes a liking to her immediately, and it appears that she takes a liking to him as well. So he's on the lam here. He's on the run because he was supposed to be in court, but he ended up escaping and not having to go to court. And while he's on the lam, he decides to ask Christine, or sorry, not Christine, the daughter of the late constable to help him, and she is all for it. So they begin this trek of trying to get to this place called the Top Hat, because at the Top Hat is supposed to be Mr. Robert Tisdale's jacket, his raincoat, with the belt still inside of it. So when they get to this establishment, they are told that the raincoat was there, but that it was given away to a guy, to a tramp, by someone else who was here as well. So someone took the raincoat that wasn't theirs and gave it to this tramp guy. So Christine and Robert go to try to find this homeless transient and see what he knows about the raincoat. They end up finding him. He has a raincoat on him, but the raincoat has no belt. So Robert's starting to think, well, maybe I actually did kill her. I don't remember killing her or anything, but there's no belt on this raincoat. Eventually, they get this clue on the back of a cigarette box that the person who sold the robe could be at this hotel. So they decide to go to the hotel, and this transient says that the way that he can tell who sold him the raincoat is by him blinking, because he has this really weird pattern when he blinks. Now, of course, when they get into the hotel, they get into the main lobby where like concerts take place. Of course, it's a group of people in blackface because it's 1937, and why wouldn't there be blackface somewhere in this movie? My thoughts on blackface I've talked about before in the past. I've heard people say that it's not racist because at the time the movie was filmed, it was not considered racist. It was considered the norm. I still consider it racist, and I still consider any movie that has blackface to be bad, and they should not have 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. But anyway, so they track down the homeless guy, the transient. He says that when he received the jacket, the raincoat, that it didn't have a belt in it, and they end up going to the hotel and looking for this guy. So the guy who blinks is the drummer in the band in the hotel, and eventually he sees the transient in the audience and fears that he is after him, that he is going to tell the cops on him. And he takes these pills to try to loosen himself up, and he ends up fainting. And when he faints, the daughter goes up to him and notices that he's blinking, and that means he killed he killed the girl. He killed Christine. Oh, by the way, this is also her husband. The guy in the band with the black face who twitches is her husband, who was having the argument with her in the beginning of the movie. And at the end, they ask him, "What did you do with the belt on the coat the transient give you?" And he like exclaims, "I rang her neck with it. I wrapped it around her neck and I rang her neck with it." And that's basically the whole movie. I have some problems with this movie. I love Alfred Hitchcock, for one. Alfred Hitchcock is my favorite director of all time, but I definitely have some issues with this movie. The first issue is in the very beginning of the movie when they find the body. Now, I don't know what kind of forensics they had back then, but like I said before, they should be able to maybe check to see if there's water in the lungs. Were there obvious ligature marks on her neck? Because it seems like they were going towards the idea of drowning before they went with the idea of her being strangled with a belt. And you would have to think that their strangulation marks are so bad on her neck that there would be no question as to whether it was that or it was anything else. But they don't do that. Also, I'm pretty sure, at least nowadays, if someone's killed and they're going through a messy divorce and divorce papers were filed, you'd probably ask the husband first and interview the husband to see if he could have done it. They also don't do this. They jump to conclusions because apparently Robert owns a raincoat as well. So he's the one who killed her because he owns a raincoat. Now, with Robert, I guess my issue with Robert is that the whole part, the main crux, the main meat of this movie is him trying to find his raincoat so he can find the belt and prove that he still has the belt and it couldn't have killed the woman. So, if he's having such a hard time looking for this, this raincoat that he's supposed to have, why doesn't he just go buy another raincoat with a belt on it and say, "Look, here's my belt"? I don't know. I don't understand. It's a really weird movie. Why didn't they question the husband first? The husband should always be questioned instead of running with the guy that's right in front of you. And then, even though they didn't do that, they launched a manhunt for him that lasted for several weeks at a time, costing the taxpayers money when he's not even the one who did it. And also the pacing of this movie is kind of weird for me. I thought that this movie would have benefited from like an extra hour attached onto it with extra explanations, extra like day in the life of these people. I thought that would be better than than the length that it currently is. And I'm not one who usually likes movies to be longer. I want them to be shorter. But I thought this one could have benefited from being a little bit longer. The blackface part of the movie for me is disturbing. I hate blackface in movies. And it automatically gets a dump, like a lower score because of blackface. All in all, not my favorite Hitchcock movie. The acting was subpar. I thought the story was absolutely horrendous. And I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Thank you. I hope you have a great